I don't think we should give the impressions of the younger generation that loneliness is an issue or a epidemic, pandemic. I think that's a wrong suggestion to the younger generations. We should be acknowledge that loneliness is simply a part of human condition and human emotions. And once you have experienced the loneliness, on the other side, you will be much appreciative when there's good people around you. And I will argue that the best part of my life was mostly saved by the ability that I'm able to bear the loneliness when I was growing up. Because the loneliness I felt in my life when I was growing up have pushed me to searching for answers by reading books, listening to music, writing diaries, to actually spend time to reflect and think about why do I feel lonely? Even when I was surrounded by friends, I still feel that a lot of times, actually. I will actually suggest that we shouldn't put out headlines like there's a loneliness epidemic amongst the younger generation. But if I would, the media, I would have changed the title into how do we coexist with loneliness and thrive? How do we enjoy alone time and learn new things? How do we embrace peaceful time, enjoy loneliness, and grow? I, for me, that would be a better perspective to transcend it to the youth and to the public. I don't like the negative suggestion, such things as epidemic. I don't think that brings any good to the younger generations. It almost feels like you give them the excuse to feel miserable because they cannot stand being alone. On the contrast, when we should be encourage them to use their alone time, use that unbearable feeling that they don't want to have, transform them into a force for them wanted to be break out of that loneliness feelings to do something else. Like for me personally, pain and suffering has always been my best motivation. If I am good in my comfort zone, I'm not coming out of my comfort zone. Never, ever. So I will argue that when you're feeling lonely, that would be the best time for you to study, learn more about yourself, of who you are, of what you want as an individual, as a person. That shouldn't be an excuse to drown in your loneliness and sorrow. The hardships and the negative feelings we had in life, most of the time, would be the driving force that puts us forward. Because I think human beings, we were designed to drown in our own comforts. So when we cannot get that comfort anymore, that's when we know we need to move on. It's supposed to be hard to find good friends. It's supposed to be hard to find your own tribe of people who you can trust and you enjoy the same things. That's how you know to cherish good friends. Loneliness is a driving force for you to get better, get to know yourself better, get to live your life better, Loneliness is actually a driving force for you to become a better individual, for you to wanted to learn how to get along with yourself. While we're at this subject, I think the education system, there's really a lot of improvement they should be having. There's a lot of subjects should be teaching in school. How should young people be facing losing any relationships? How should young people be facing being alone? How should young people be facing the growing pain? These are the things I think that school, the education system, should have be teaching the younger generation today instead of letting them flow on the internet headlines and being scared by the sensation of epidemic of loneliness. Let's say even if you find your soulmate, you got a wonderful marriage, accident happens every single day. People get hit by the car. People got overdose. People got sick. Eventually, at some point in your life, you're gonna have to learn to be okay being alone in a lot of situations. That's the only way you can feel a solid security within your lives. That's really the only way. Being self-efficient, such a sexy word. Is such a sexy word. As long as you can be self-efficient, there's really not much cannot conquer in life. You can't not lose the battle with loneliness. You gotta win. I enjoy my alone time more than anything. And I think that's one very important components of my life of how I can keep going with my life. Because I acknowledge the reality of human conditions. It's a lot of time being alone with yourself. And I use my loneliness to search for answers. And loneliness was my driving force. And it will always be my driving force to move my life forward because I want to live a better life. So loneliness for me somehow is beneficial. So I will encourage the younger generation and everybody who feels like loneliness is a challenging thing in their life. They should maybe change a perspective. Try to find peace. Try to find peace with loneliness. When you grow, you will much appreciate your alone time. I do not call that loneliness. I call that vacation, holidays. Don't try to find loneliness. Try to find who you are. It's just like breathing. It will always exist, whether you like it or not. Might as well accept it. Don't fight it. Make peace with it. Life is a beautiful journey that will always have the dark and the bright side. And we need to learn to embrace them all. And that's how we live a enjoyable life.